Brought to you by Gamezy. Win up to rupees 5 crores every day. Download the app now.
It's a double-header in the IPL, and in the first game, the Punjab Kings take on the Rajasthan Royals. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about the budget buys first. Among the budget buys from the Punjab Kings, I'm looking at three bowlers, and it's entirely up to you whether you want to pick them or not, but there are three choices that I'm looking at. One is Sandeep Sharma, because he has played the last three games and has been bowling very economically. If you look at the last game also, he did not pick up a single wicket but gave away only 17 runs. So is a decent choice. Apart from him, there's Arshdeep Singh. Again, he doesn't pick that many wickets but bowls at the death. So maybe one day he'll get a few wickets is what I'm thinking about. But yes, in terms of the economy, in the death overs, he's one of the best this season. And then Rahul Chahar. There was an injury scare in the last game. He only bowled 1.3 overs in total. But Chahar was fine. And I think he'll play this game. There will be no issues in terms of his selection. And the fact that I expect him to bowl far more overs than just 1.3. And because it's a day game, the spinners might come into play. So Rahul Chahar is another good choice. For the Rajasthan Royals, I'm looking at three players again. Prasidh Krishna was a little expensive in the last game, but because he bowls at the death, bowls at the top, good choice. Kuldeep Sen has also been given those death over duties, by the way, because Trent bowled, they make sure that he bowls 3 overs in the power play or 2 overs in the power play and then 1 over in the middle somewhere and another before the 16th, 17th over. Kuldeep Sen is bowling those difficult overs, so there's a chance that he could get important wickets. So again, Kuldeep Sen is a choice. Another player that you could be looking at, Devdutt Padikkal, but the problem with Padikkal is that he really hasn't not been consistent this season. Last game also got out for just 2 runs. So maybe not. If you want to take a punt, Padikkal can also be a budget buy. Among the overseas options, Punjab Kings are going to play. Bhanuka Rajapaksa will play. Liam Livingstone will play. And Kagiso Rabada will play. These three for sure. Okay. The only player I'm not sure about anymore is Jonny Bairstow, and they may not remove him from the side, but he was given the opening duties in the last game and he failed yet again. So maybe they might look at Mayank Agarwal going back to his opening slot and somebody else entirely, maybe an Odean Smith again or a Benny Howell or somebody else altogether in place of Jonny Bairstow, because he really hasn't fired for them this season. For Rajasthan, they only played 3 foreigners. They played, Josh Butler is there, Shimron Hetmyer, and then Trent bowled. These 3 played. Last game they played Karun Nair. I thought he only made 13 of 13, and they should look at somebody like a Rassie van der Dussen, who played 2 games for Rajasthan earlier, didn't do much, but Rassie van der Dussen for me is a better batsman at least in comparison to Karun Nair. So maybe he gets an opportunity. So captaincy choices, and I'm looking at 3 players from the Punjab Kings. Number 1 is Shikhar Dhawan, of course, scored a 50 in the last game, and he is one of their most consistent players. Dhawan over the years has shown us his batting prowess, and the fact that he's been opening the innings and the fact that he's in good form makes him a great pick. Another player you should be looking at is Liam Livingstone. 117 meter 6, everybody is talking about that one shot, right? So Liam Livingstone, not for that 117 meter 6, but for the fact that he will bowl also, and the way he scored those quick fire 30 runs for his side, I think he's a great choice. And we saw that in the past when he scored those 350s as well. So Livingstone, again, decent choice. And Rabada, as my good friend Sidvi says, Rabada kar dega sabka kabada. He is bowling exactly like that. Last game 4 wickets. Before that also he picked up a 3 wicket or 4 wicket haul. So Rabada has been among the wickets. So a great choice. Rajasthan Royals, only one guy, we always talk about only one guy. I'm going to say Josh Butler, your biggest bet of the lot. So maybe he'll come good with the bat again, because yes, he has not scored that many runs, but the game before the last one he scored 60 odd runs, 67 if I'm not wrong. So Butler, again, a great pick. So in my fantasy 11, I have picked Josh Butler. There's Shikhar Dhawan, Sanju Samson is there, Shimron Hetmer, Bhanuka Rajpaksa, Liam Livingston. Then among the bowlers, I have picked Prasidh Krishna, Yuzvendra Chahal, Kagiso Rabada, Rahul Chahar, and I'm not sure, and I'll decide it before the toss whether I go in with somebody like a Rishi Dhawan or a Kuldeep Sen for my 11th player. So that was all about this Punjab versus Rajasthan game. Now let's look at the other big game, the night game, where the Lucknow Super Giants take on the Kolkata Knight Riders. So 3 players I'm looking at from my favorite Lucknow Super Giants among my budget buys. Number 1, Deepak Hooda. Deepak Hooda is now batting at 3. And yes, there was a period, a lull in the middle stages. He started off so well, then did not score that many runs in the few games in the middle. But now he's again back to his best. So Deepak Hooda is a great choice. Then you're looking at Krunal Pandya. Bowls all 4 overs, has been taking wickets. Also bats either number 4 or number 5 for Lucknow. So great pick in that sense. And Mohsin Khan, Mohsin Khan was drafted into the side because Avesh Khan wasn't completely fit. And now after that first game where he gave away only 27 runs and picked up that wicket, what has he done? He has taken 3 wickets in the next game, and the next game after that he took 4 wickets. So total 8 wickets in 3 games for Mohsin Khan. Has to be among your picks in the budget buys from the Lucknow side. KKR, Nitish Rana scored a few runs in the last game, scored a 50 before that, so he's a good pick. Rinku Singh was the player of the match in the last game. He's the reason why they won the last game against the Rajasthan Royals. So Rinku Singh is of course there. And then I've also picked Shivam Mavi. Shivam Mavi, for the fact that he bowls at the death and he's been bowling his full quota of 4 overs. And even though he was very expensive in those first couple of games, was dropped from the side, the last few games he has been good. So yes, Shivam Mavi completes my budget buys from the Kolkata Knight Riders. Overseas options. I'm looking at Lucknow Super Giants, and I think Quinton de Kock is going to play for sure. Jason Holder is going to play for sure. And then you know that Dushmanta Chamira, even though he was expensive in the last game, will also keep his place in the side. The only player I'm not sure about anymore, and I talked about him in the last game as well, is Marcus Stoinis. Yet again in the last game he failed with the bat. Really hasn't done much, and he has played what, 5 or 6 games? Maybe 5, maybe 6. So Stoinis really needs to come to the party, or they might be looking at a replacement for this game itself. Maybe Evan Lewis gets another game. Maybe Kyle Myers is also there. So both of them can replace Marcus Stoinis, because you wanted him to play that finisher's role to provide you those quick runs, and Stoinis really hasn't done the job. So those 4, let's see who plays, whether Stoinis plays tomorrow or whether they get in somebody else. But those were your overseas options from the Lucknow Super Giants. Now Kolkata Knight Riders. And yes, Andre Russell, who did not bat, did not bowl, will be there. Sunil Narayan will be there. Tim Southee was expensive in the last game, but he'll also be there. The only player I'm not sure about, like for Lucknow Super Giants, I wasn't sure about Marcus Stoinis. It's another Australian for the KKR side, and that's Aaron Finch. Looked very inconsistent at the crease. Not sure whether to move his feet or not. Really, I'm not sure whether he deserves to play with the way he batted in the last game. Yes, he scored a 50 in the middle, but his last couple of performances I'm not too impressed with. And Aaron Finch, maybe they look at some other opening combination, because they've been trying way too much. Baba Indrajit opened in the last game. Maybe they can get in somebody like an Ajinkya Rahane and get in Sam Billings, and Indrajit can then drop to the bench. So lots of combinations, lots of permutations and combinations that can take place in this KKR. At least the opening combination for that matter. So I'm not sure who they are going to play with, but maybe Sam Billings for Aaron Finch and then Rahane for Baba Indrajit. Maybe some changes like that. Captaincy choices. Lucknow Super Giants, KL Rahul first pick always. I guess 50-60% of you will indeed pick KL Rahul as your captain, because he always scores runs, most of the times at least. Quinton de Kock, another choice, but Krunal Pandya is again somebody who will bowl 4 overs, gets few wickets and will bat in that middle order. So maybe he's another option. For Kolkata Knight Riders, yes, Andre Russell didn't do anything in the last game, but he can be a big captaincy pick, because If he bowls even 1 or 2 overs, he gets you wickets. He is that sort of a bowler who will bowl those 1-2 overs at the death and gets you wickets. And apart from that, his batting everybody knows about. I don't have to highlight it again and again. And yes, Shreyas Iyer, by the way, has gone under the radar. He's, I guess, number 6 or number 7 like that on the top run getters list. Was number 3 at one point before David Warner scored a few runs and somebody else too. So Shreyas Iyer again, last game also he started off well. Probably should have done better, but maybe a big innings is around the corner for Shreyas Iyer. So in my fantasy 11, I have picked KL Rahul, Quinton de Kock, Shreyas Iyer. There's Deepak Hooda, Rinku Singh, Krunal Pandya is there, Andre Russell, Shivam Mavi, Jason Holder, Tim Saudi, and Mohsin Khan completes my fantasy 11. So guys, make sure you download the Gamezy app, because these teams that I talked about, both games, both my fantasy 11s are from according to the points that you get on the Gamezy app. So what are you waiting for? Download the app right now through the description below and win up to 5 crore rupees in daily prizes. Thank you for watching.